So I get to go first, and I decided to focus on what we've focused on most in the last 3 years in Butte, and in terms of a special event, which has been the National Folk Festival, which we have produced in Butte 2008 through 2010. Main Street Uptown Butte proposed that this event, which is a traveling national event, come to Montana, and it came to Butte. And we are a member of a group of partners from throughout the state that put this event on, have put it on for the last 3 years. It is it's an overwhelming event that kind of took over everything that we have done. We've done other events. We produce a farmer's market. We do a Christmas stroll. We do retail promotions, which are different than what we're talking about today. Special events are special. Retail promotions are meant to bring people into stores and to buy things, and that there are plenty of those that happen throughout the year in Butte as well as other communities throughout Montana. But special events are things that are developed to attract people to your downtown area. In Butte's case, it's an uptown area, but it's to bring people in, to interact, to be introduced to your resources that you have in the town. And for our purposes, this particular event was very successful in that respect. There's several benefits to having a special event in your community, and this is one I just wanted to show this. This is a shot of our original mine yard, which we did before the event, which became a focal point of the event. It actually serves as the amphitheater, the main stage area. This is it before, or slightly getting started in revamping this historic resource to have an adaptive reuse for this that involves large crowds. And this is what it looked like in 2009 from the air in the middle of the Saturday afternoon of the National Folk Festival. So it's been a lot of work that's gone into this, a lot of resources invested to make this a venue, and a pretty impressive venue for an event. The Folk Festival was built on the experience. One of the rules that we've always followed is building on your assets. No matter what community you are, no matter what you have, take a close look at what you have and build on it. In our case, we have a historic district with tall buildings, incredible architecture that was built by the 1880s, 1910, around then. But we also have a lot of mine yards, and due to our mining heritage from Butte being a underground mining place for many years, and we put these to use as a venue for this event. We have 6 stages that go throughout this historic district and include views of the mountains that surround Butte, which a lot of people don't usually take a look at, but we have the Continental Divide, Highlands, the Pintler. We're surrounded by mountains, and so it's a pretty spectacular view in the middle of the summer when you're listening to the music on the stage. But these events that preceded it, which still continue today, Knievel Days and the Montana Irish Festival, kind of set the stage for this larger event. This special event in particular has delivered economic benefits to the festival economy that we've been developing in Butte. We have several major festivals throughout the summer, and we've tried to create an engine that generates income for the business district, but also attracts people to Butte and to the region to enjoy the many things that can be done during the summer. But Butte was a town that not too long ago, we have a small college, Montana Tech. It would shut down in May, and all the businesses in the historic district would you just hear the sucking sound. They'd just go into mourning until fall came around. The college opened up again, the students came back. This summer, it was almost like people didn't notice. There was income that was generated by these events that brought different crowds to town, and has really sustained it through this time, but also has served as, the festival economy has been good in bringing business into the region. There's things that benefit from this, these safety and transportation enhancements. We have new sidewalks. It's like getting your house ready for company. Things have been done to improve sidewalks and improve other venues in the area. And these augment other investments. They give a purpose for some of the investments made to improve public properties and resources. And there are direct economic benefits to this as well. It's been in 3 years, it's pretty expensive, and that could be a whole other discussion of fundraising for something like this. But it's $3.9 million over 3 years to produce this event. But it's brought in more than $50 million to Montana from out-of-state tourism revenues. The job creation we estimate is more than 200 new jobs across the state, with about 50 in Butte-Silverville County. It is served to have Butte. It serves as a meeting place, as an intersection between the two interstates, and it's really given Butte an enhanced appearance from throughout the region. It's brought positive attention, and real estate investment has resulted has come about as a result of these events, especially the Folk Festival. It's gone a long way to cleaning up some of the eyesores we've had. Uptown Butte's been, infrastructure's been, I'd say, neglected over many years, and with the stimulus investment, there's some change to that. But there's been a lot of investment in sidewalk repair in the uptown area especially. The way that the site has been designed allows people to experience the uptown district with the many businesses while they're enjoying the festival. And it's also contributed to publicity throughout the country while we've hosted the national event in town. There have been a lot of investment in the venue development. For example, we didn't have, Butte's about 100 years old in terms of some places that electricity had actually been removed from the town in parts. We were able to reinvest in electrical hookups in some of these areas, and we've seen other development that has benefited from that. We put in about $69,000 the first year of electrical investment. These are just some examples of infrastructure that has changed as a result. This was a wall that happened to be underneath an area that was going to have heavy foot traffic, and this was repaired as a result. It'd be better to have after photos, which I don't have with me, but this is what it looked like before we started in this particular area of the uptown. The sidewalk, again, this has been completely repaired. The fence has been renovated on the original mine yard on the hill. Just some details of sidewalks that were really in bad disrepair that have been repaired and improved as a result. Some of these hadn't been touched for about 50 years, and we realized that there were going to be people walking on them, and so we decided to, well, we were able to convince the local government that it was worth investing in to fix these. Lots that are used as venues for art markets and family area and other aspects of the event needed some repair, which was done as a result. The direct economic benefits of the Folk Festival, not only in terms of the people who come from out of state or from throughout Montana, that they shop, they buy gas, they buy lodging, they do other things that they do when they're doing any kind of moving around. But there's other direct benefits from having the festival. Over 3 years, we've spent this much, about $1.5 million in terms of local products and services. When I say local, I mean in our trade area. We've had printers from Bozeman. We've had our ad agencies in Missoula. We have expenses that are necessary, and the lodging in terms of where people stayed. We had people coming from as far away as Missoula, Bozeman, Helena, and so there's benefits that go beyond just our community to throughout southwest Montana. Our sound and staging comes from Anaconda, and that was just a healthy infusion of money related to this event has gone into the local products and services. So what in terms of how we've looked at this event, this special event, The first year in 2008, we had 75,000 people attended the first year. They weren't sure of what to expect, I don't think, but it still was, they were interested and they came. And there was about an $8 million impact to the regional economy. In 2009, that went up to 120,000 with a equal equivalent $17 million impact to the economy. And in 2010, we had about 165,000 people who came with about, we estimate, a $31 million economic impact to the state economy. And that's based on a 4-day visit to the state. I mean, we're hearing things like there's a variety of reasons, but visitations up in Yellowstone, in Glacier, and a lot of other indicators that people came, but they based their visits to come through Butte to attend this event, and then went on to do other things, which we hope, that was our goal, was to have them explore the region and spend more time in the state than they might otherwise have done. Because we had so much fun. Anybody who does events is a party animal, of course, and they just want to keep going. So we just decided we've invested a lot in infrastructure and other things, equipment and whatnot, that it would be, actually be a sin to stop. So we've decided that the Nationals moved on to Nashville, Tennessee, but this coming July 8th, 9th, and 10th, we are planning to present the Montana Folk Festival. The only thing that changed about the event will be the name. It won't be the National anymore. The National will be in Nashville, but the Montana Folk Festival will continue. And it is, I've been talking about the economic impact, but it is a lot of fun. So if anybody's interested, details are available at this website. I'll bet if I clicked on it, it would go right to it, wouldn't it? I don't know how to do that. And on Facebook, and I think we'll hear more about how to use social media for talking to people and informing them about things. But this is one particular event. So I'll leave it at that. And if you have any questions about the event, there's a lot of other things about to it, but I'll pass it along to Julie, I think.
All right. Like I said before, I'm Julie Weaver. I'm the Assistant Director at the Missoula Downtown Association. Welcome. It's fun to have our peers here in our hometown and show you guys a good time. I hope you're all enjoying the conference. I am entering my 7th year here at the MDA. Actually, this week marks my end of my 6th year, entering my 7th year here in Missoula. I'm primarily in charge of marketing events at the MDA, as well as IT, as I was discussing with Lisa earlier, other duties as needed. I'm sure we've all had a little bit of that. So I chose today to focus my presentation a little bit more on the variety of events that we do, how we go about making money at those events, and kind of how the marketing's evolved on those events. So we do about 30 public events a year here in Missoula, just ourselves, and we are lucky and blessed to have Caras Park, our town square, which I'm sure you've all seen while you've been here this week, as our venue. That the city owns it, we manage it. So we are really lucky that we have that opportunity to use that space, as well as generate revenue by renting it out to others. We plan about 30 events there between May and the end of August. The rest of the community plans about an additional 70. So there's truly something going on there every weekend, if not every single day of the weekend. The events we plan generate about 75% of our budget. The other 25% is generated by membership dues. So it's a huge part of what we do. It's what allows us to do all the other great things we want to do here in downtown Missoula. But as you all know, it keeps us busy. We are excited that this year we actually celebrated anniversaries at almost all of our events. Out to Lunch, our longest running event, celebrated its 25th year. Downtown Tonight, its sister program, which is a Thursday night summer concert series, similar to what most of you have as Alive at 5, I believe. That celebrated its 10th year, along with our car show, the Garden City River Rod Run. And then the River City Roots Festival, our signature event for Missoula, just celebrated its 5th year. And we're excited that in its 4th year, it actually won the 2009 Montana Tourism Event of the Year. And for such a young event, we were very excited about that. Our other 2 events that we do are our Garden City Brew Fest the first weekend in May, and then the Parade of Lights is our Christmas parade in December. We also, as an organization, celebrated 35 years this year, so we kind of had a celebration year at the MDA. And some other pictures here. This is the Garden City Brewfest from this year. What we learned this year at this event is that Missoula will come out and drink beer even if it's snowing. This was the first Saturday in May. As you can see in the background here, the weather was not great. It snowed. So when I woke up that morning, I know myself and my counterparts at the MDA were a little nervous, needless to say, and we still sold 6,000 glasses for beer that day and wristbands, and managed to walk away with the same amount of profit as the year before, and we were amazed. We thought we were in a world of hurt at the opening of our season, so it was a great start to our season, which we were excited about. Most of our events that we serve, actually all of our events that we serve alcohol at, we generate the revenue by selling wristbands. We make people buy a wristband in order to consume alcohol, and that's when we check their IDs so that we make sure they're of age. And then it's a great revenue generator on top of it. And then from there, we either do one of two things. Either we vend the alcohol ourselves and get a cabaret license from the state of Montana, or we partner with one of the catering bars here in Missoula, and then they take the profit from it but give us a healthy donation back from it. This is a picture from our Downtown Tonight summer concert series. This is actually one of the partnered events we do throughout that series, which is called the Great Grizz Encounter. It's essentially the autograph session with the UM football team. So we've been lucky that we got them to partner with us on that event. It's the only autograph session that we do, or that they do, and it brings a nice little crowd down for us as well. And then this is the River City Roots Festival. This event started 5 years ago. We had a lot of events in Missoula, but we didn't really feel like we had that one signature event that drew people regionally to Missoula for a weekend. And so our director, Linda McCarthy, and Ellen Buchanan, who many of you know through the Missoula Redevelopment Agency, and Brent Campbell from WGM Group had gotten together, had a conversation about how we needed that one signature draw event for Missoula. And it was born 5 years ago. We decided to take it out of Karis Park because 70 events a year, people get bored with it. So we decided that this is going to be the big event that we put out on the street, and we block off a 4-block radius on the corners of Main and Ryman. People love the fact that we get them out of Karis Park for this one. They feel like they're breaking the law or something by having a beer in the street, but it actually is one of our best managed events for incidents. We've never had an incident, knock on wood, at that event, and the police department actually loves it for that reason. They said they have less incidents that weekend, even with 15,000 people drinking in the street, than they do any other weekend of the year. So I think it's the type of music that we book helps lead to having a calmer crowd. So basic marketing mix 5 to 10 years ago when I started this job was your typical print ads, radio ads, posters, and a printed newsletter. As we all know, that can be expensive, hard on resources, hard on your volunteers when you're asking them to go hang up 200 posters throughout downtown Missoula. And it can be hard to reach those younger customers doing it that way. So we did the best we could with that, but with the addition of social media, it has absolutely made our jobs much easier. We've been able to get a hold of that younger crowd, been able to get the word out more about our events on little to no budget. I think all of us are more common and familiar with websites and emailing lists, but more newer, Facebook, Twitter. This year at the Roots Festival, we actually entered into mobile updates with people where they could text Roots Fest to a number, and they would get deals back for our food court. So every band that we had up there, if they texted Roots Fest to, I think it was, can't remember the number now, but anyhow, they would get information about the band that was coming up on the stage, and then they would get a deal for one of our food vendors in the food court, so they could go over and get $1 off a hot dog or $1 off a beer, whatever that band's deal was. So that was a successful addition that we did this year. And then also, we really try hard to utilize the other online calendars in the community. We have a few more than I'd like. It'd be really nice if we were all on one calendar, but we have about 4 or 5 different calendars here, so we just make sure that we're getting consistent and frequent messaging out through them as well. So this is a picture of our new Missoula Downtown website. Those who have known me for a few years know that I worked long and hard to get the our BID, our MDA, and our Parking Commission partner together on one website and living together. So we launched this at the beginning of the summer and are really excited about it. The nice thing with this is we have a blog on here that we can update frequently, and that helps drive more traffic to the website of our Google rating because it gives people a reason to come back more often. That blog also automatically links to Facebook and Twitter. So whenever we post something on that blog, it automatically goes out there, so it cuts down on staff time. We try to go out there once a day and post something on Facebook and Twitter, but at the same time, we all know that the day slips away from us, right? So it's nice if you can just do it once and it pushes out there on its own. This is our Missoula Downtown Facebook page. We've got somewhere around 2,400 friends on our Facebook page, so it's a nice way for us to be able to push messaging out quickly. Sometimes we use it for our events, sometimes it's for our members though as well. If we don't have something going on, we'll pull ahead on, like the one that you can't see here, but that we had posted that day was that Tom Catmull was playing at the Redbird that night, so we threw that out there. Other times it might be, there's a street closure in downtown Missoula. It's just a fast, free, and effective way to get messaging out there. The other thing that we do with Facebook also is some paid advertising. There's two different kinds, pay-per-click, pay-per-impression. I personally prefer the pay-per-click because if they don't click on it, you still got that impression, you didn't have to pay for it, but both are good. And this is an example of our Twitter page that is actually, the picture background there is actually one of the pictures that rotates through on our website as well, so that they're linked together. Another thing that makes all of our events work is partnerships. We truthfully couldn't do this on our own. We're an office of 4.5 staff, and it takes a village. That's kind of our office motto, that there's no way we could do this on our own. The Roots Fest alone takes 250 volunteers to pull off over a 2-day stretch. Also in marketing, getting the word out is our media partnerships. We don't do any of our events without a media partner. We've got the Missoulian, our local paper, is our title sponsor for the River City Roots Festival. We've also got one of our local radio stations that pushes out nearly $10,000 in free marketing for us just for the Roots Festival. They also are a key sponsor for Brewfest as well. So we truly, truly could not get the word out about our events without those partnerships. We also have a lot of community partnerships. So Roots Festival, for example, our Convention and Visitors Bureau has sponsored the last few years with money for out-of-area marketing. It's kind of that one event that we really try to draw regionally for. So they give us money specifically to get that out-of-town consumer to come in and spend more time. And specifically, we focus on Washington and Idaho to try to draw that out-of-state dollar into Montana. Roots Fest is strategically placed during orientation. So it is the weekend that all the students come back. They start on Monday. So we've kind of branded it as the welcome home party to the university students, and it has truly become that. So we're excited that we've gotten them kind of linked in with that. The Kids Festival part of the Roots Fest is what we do in Karis Park. We essentially turn it over to the kids, and that whole part of the festival couldn't happen without the community partnerships. I think every children's provider in our city comes out with something, whether it be tie-dyeing or our science museum comes out and has activities for the kids. We couldn't do it without them. And then Run Well Missoula, our local run organization, also does our 4-mile run for the Roots Fest. So we get this great addition to the Roots Festival. It's kind of one of the 4 prongs of it, but we don't have to plan it, which is great. And with downtown tonight, we have a couple great partnerships. One is a media one. Our local weekly independent here, the Missoula Independent, does a Best of Missoula every year. So it's a reader's poll, essentially. But they announce the results the day of one of the downtown tonights that they're sponsoring, and they invite all the winners to come down and enjoy a free beverage on them. So we get this instant crowd of 200 winners that have been invited down for a free drink. They're buying those drinks. We're getting the revenue off of them. And it's a perfect match because they feel like the party's been planned for them, and we have an instant crowd. And then I talked about the Great Grizz Encounter a little bit more. And the last one would be out to lunch. Every 3rd year, the International Choral Festival actually comes to Missoula, and we have the opening session for that festival every year at Out to Lunch. And I have some pictures of those as well. This is from this year's Roots Festival. The Zootown Arts Community Center, which if you were on the Kettle House tour yesterday, we kind of pointed out where that was, came down and did a kids mural down there. And this is all those panels are double-sided, and it was four-pronged. And then after it was done, one of our local galleries has it up for our art walks. And so kids painted that and went over and over it for 2 days, and then we had an artist come in and kind of give it some clarity as well. This is a picture of our Roots Fest run. We have a lot of runners, competitive runners actually. This individual right here in the front used to run for the Olympic Canadian team. She won. And this is the Great Grizz Encounter at downtown tonight, all the football players doing the autograph session. And this is the last International Choral Festival that we hosted down in Caras Park. The other thing that I think is important too to mention is that you can really be effective on any budget. Our out to lunch marketing budget is $1,000. We plan 13 weeks and get the word out there on $1,000. For Roots Festival, we spend $10,000. The more money you have, the more you're able to go regionally. The smaller the budget, the more we stay on a local level for that. And anytime you have a smaller budget, you really do have to look to more partnerships and get more creative and hit the social media a little bit harder on those. And it is a fine line with social media so that you're not, it can be the new spam. I think we all know that, but it can also be a really effective tool if used correctly. So with that, I'll pass it on to Lisa and take questions at the end.
Hi, and thank you for attending today. My name is Lisa Harmon. I'm Executive Director of the Downtown Billings Association and the Business Improvement District, and I'm glad you're here today. I want to thank Julie and MDA for hosting this great conference. It's been so great. The content has been so good, and so I'm really happy to play a part here today on marketing and special events. I'm going to talk a little bit about branding as well, but first I'd like to introduce Michael Young. If you raise your hand, she's our Marketing and Events Coordinator. For Downtown Billings, Sue Ping, if you'd raise your hand. Sue Ping Ing Bronson, she has a pretty long name. She is our Program and Finance Manager. Joe Stout is our bid supervisor. He's here today. And then Shane Winden is our Downtown Resource Officer. And really, I think Julie may have said it, or George, I don't know, but it really does take a village to put these events on, and certainly could not happen without a team of people and, of course, volunteers, and I'm just very, very blessed to work with my colleagues here. If you notice, I really didn't put any kind of branding on that for a reason, but let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. The mission of the DBA is to advocate and promote Downtown Billings as a vibrant economic and cultural center, if you will, a great place to live. It really is the heartbeat of the city. And it's probably not unlike most mission statements for downtown associations. My staff has seen this before, so I hope not to bore you. You can put your head down if you want for a few minutes if you're bored. I like to say that when I took over the position of executive director for the association, it was a couple of years ago. Actually, I was hired to be the bid director in 2005. And my duties were changed kind of midstream, and became director of both. And when I did and got into the marketing and promotion and advocacy piece, not just the clean and safe and outreach that I was doing on the bid level, I realized that our downtown was kind of like this. It's real nice. It's real great. Everybody's doing their job, and it looks real serene, and it's all good. But we weren't really sending out a cohesive message. We really didn't have a brand identity. And we have, in our office right now, we are an alliance. We're actually the Downtown Billings Alliance, which is comprised of the Downtown Billings Partnership, which is our redevelopment, TIF, revitalization arm, economic development arm. We also have, so you've got the Alliance, you've got the Partnership, you have the Downtown Billings Association, which is the oldest organization. Actually just celebrated our 25th this year. I know you're 10 years on us, Julie. And then our BID, our Business Improvement District. And we all have different functions, but we do a lot of, how shall I say, economies of scale. We share rent. We are in the same location. But to that end, we were sending out all kinds of different marketing messages because we were three different entities. So what do you do when you have something like that and you're trying really hard to get your market share to come downtown? So I wanted to be like that cow. I wanted people to drive by that scene and see that instead and say, what did I just drive by? I think I just saw a purple cow. And there's a book called The Purple Cow, and you should look it up. It's by Seth Godin, and it's about making your business remarkable, or your life remarkable, or your downtown, or whatever it is. And Michael has that book. It's Michael. No, it's Sue Ping that has that book. And so we really had to really work hard to get a message that would serve our members, which are 220 association members, approximately 100 property owners, a ton in the tax increment district, and they're all our members, and we needed to be relevant to them, who can range from, and it can range from a coffee cart to a huge medical complex, to the Billings Outlaws, to the university. And I know you have that kind of diversity in your downtowns, your main streets, and so how do you do that? Because our members love their voice, and they love to be able to voice their opinions, and so what we came up with was Downtown Billings Starts Here. And really it was an effort to be inclusive, so that we can say Downtown Billings starts here, and it really did. It was the original little Magic City town, and it has grown and grown and grown and grown. Well, it really does start here with historical, cultural venues. So we can say that arts and culture start here. We can say that education starts here. We have MSUB, the Billings campus. We have Rocky Mountain College. We also have the Freshman Academy for senior high school in our downtown. So we have a lot of educational things going on, like most of you I'm sure do. We can say that healthcare starts here. We have Billings Clinic and St. Vincent de Paul, St. Vincent de Paul Hospital, both members. So we've really become a regional medical corridor that draws from a probably larger than a tri-state region. Our population is about 120,000 if you count some of the surrounding areas, but our market, we service probably about 500,000 people that come from Wyoming or other areas. So we're actually quite a nice little economic center, if you will. And so we wanted something that our members could latch onto. So some of our members have taken that and put it into their own messaging, which has been very vital for us. But the idea is that we needed a brand identity and a promise that we were going to be looking like that cow when you came downtown. It was going to be something different, and we were going to really shock your expectations. That's what we hope to do. And so, and to that end, we started threading out the message. And this is a billboard on the Walker's, it's actually the Securities Building. And Walker's Grill, if you're familiar with Billings, is a great restaurant. And their sign was grandfathered in to the purchase of their building. Now, you can't just go around and put billboards on the side of buildings, because that might look a little goofy, and it's not in our sign code for the city of Billings or the downtown sign code. But it was grandfathered in, and as long as he keeps something up there, he can keep his sign. The minute he takes something down or is not taking care of that, he loses that ability. So I said, oh, I want that. And so we are on that sign, and that is on North 27th. So when you come off the highway, you see this, and then you kind of realize, wow, I'm in downtown. And we really didn't have any of that messaging. In fact, a lot of the messaging we were doing was talking to the same people that we serve rather than getting that message further out. And so we kind of had to have a long-range vision for that. Another way that we've done that is with our pedestrian kiosks. We have these, they weigh a ton, kiosks on the sidewalk in downtown Billings. And one side of the kiosk has a poster like this, and it says, this is our newest one. It's being placed by the downtown campus, the MSUB downtown campus, and of course says education starts here. But the other ones we have kind of near our banks say business starts here. We have some other ones placed in the downtown. Entertainment starts here, shopping starts here, and arts and culture. On the flip side of that pedestrian kiosk, it's really big, and people can come to our downtown and see a membership directory and a walking map. And I also brought some of the walking maps that we use, and so these are, oh, thanks, yeah, we can pass that to others if you want. So these are available. There's a little receptacle that's rainproof or snowproof, and you can grab and get a walking map that coincides or is symbiotic with the big map that you're looking at. It's kind of a you are here. I mean, you get the map and it tells you, you find out where you want to go. You want to go to the historic district or the entertainment district or what have you. So again, it's a map that fits in your wallet. It's got our logo. So we're really trying to keep our message threaded through on the website. We had to do our website, it looked like a 3-ring circus. Everything was in blue and green and white. I mean, it was all crazy. And we really needed, like Julie was saying, to tie all these entities together. So it was kind of neat. This was our first run on this map last year, and we're going to sail and print on this again. And we made a lot of mistakes on our first map. We decided we don't want to be cartographers. It's really hard. I mean, it's a really great piece, but boy, is it going to be better the second time around. So I hope you'll come to Billings and you'll see that. So that has been kind of neat for us. We also put it, Missoula has an info bike like this, and this is our info booth. And so we just started putting the message everywhere. But guess what happened as a result of strong brand identity and delivering on your brand promise, which is downtown Billings is something different, was that our events, uptick in membership or folks coming to our events. Once we introduced a new brand, a new look, a new feel, and a new way of doing things in downtown, our events went we probably saw a 35% increase in our first year in attendance. And that was really great. This is, especially in our Live After 5, which is similar to most people, our Thursday night concert series. We do 13 Thursdays in a row. This is our wallet card and poster that we used this was this year, wasn't it, Michael? This year's. And I'm going to be relying on Michael quite a bit because she's so good. And this is a wallet card that is a replica of that poster. And what we do is not a wallet card, excuse me, you can put it on your refrigerator, what have you, but we hand them out to everybody. We print probably 25,000 of them, and it has every date, every venue, every sponsor on it, and that, again, is the poster. We really like that design. That is from G&G Advertising, who came up with our brand. And if you notice, we have the river, kind of in the rocks and things. You can't really pick up all that in that, but we really like that. For probably since Michael has been with us, we've been doing the wallet card. Sometimes they were a little smaller, but boy, was it hard to start reading at my age. The small print. So I said, we need to make that bigger for people like me. But so the Alive After 5 draws, thousands of people every Thursday night. We just started wristbanding, which was kind of painful because everyone has expected to go to the concert for so many years and not have to be carded by us as they enter and not pay $1. So we had a little bit of pain in trying to institute that, but boy, was it such a great thing to do. We did derive only $11,000 off of it this year on the wristbanding because we didn't really know what we were doing in the beginning, and we had a little rain date here and there. The Alive After 5 is one of our biggest revenue generators. I'm going to say the problem with the DBA, there was many things the DBA was doing right, but when I inherited it, it was not really penciling out very well. The DBA had been subsidized by its partner, the Downtown Billings Partnership, for a long time. The partnership paid rent, paid overhead, and things like that. So it didn't matter if they really made money on the events. Do you know what I'm saying? It didn't really seem as apparent to them that they should be making these strong revenue generators. Well, then the 1976 tax increment financing district sunset, and our partnership that relies on tax increment funds exclusively for a budget was very tentative. After the district sunset, we weren't sure the size of the new district. We weren't sure what kind of income would be coming in. And the DBA was not going to be subsidized anymore. And the DBA needed to run on its own. Third rent, third maintenance, third everything. When I say maintenance, for the warehouse or the copier machine or those things that we share. And so we really needed to look at our formula for doing events and make sure that we were not losing our shirts on them. This is one that we were losing our shirts on. The way we do our Live After 5 is we move it every 13 weeks to a new location. Because we have a partnership, and like Julie said, partnerships are paramount in all of this. We are nonprofit, and we do derive 25% of our budget comes from membership and about 75% from other sources of revenue. And so what we did, the formula that when I came along was, if you wanted an Alive After 5 and you had a tavern or a restaurant, you could host. Given you would go through the application process, you had all the insurances in place and other things that we asked that you comply with. And the fee was $1,500 for a host to have one. Nobody wanted to really do them in the beginning. We had 3. We had one in June, July, and August, and it was like beg somebody to have them. They were afraid of it. They weren't sure what it meant, what it was going to be like. And so $1,500, and we paid, out of that $1,500, we paid $500 for the band, we paid for the stage, we paid for all the marketing, we paid for the security, we paid for the dumpsters. We probably had like 69 cents at the end of the day off that event. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to have to go to this board and tell them they need to tweak this thing. So what we do now, and then it got so popular that we had to start doing like a bingo ball thing and picking numbers on who could have them because they were fighting over, well, I had it last year, I want it this year. Oh my gosh, everybody wanted to have it. So that's a good problem. Those growing pains, though, are very difficult on the administrative level. And so what we do now is I doubled the fee, $3,000, so that we can at least make $1,500 on the event, because some of these hosts were making $20,000. And so, and we tweaked our media partnerships. We book about $75,000 on the books in in-kind media donations, sponsorships, if you will. But we probably push it to about $100,000. So we love our media partners. So that's just a little bit of our Live After 5. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask Michael or me or Suping or in our office. But Michael is really the one that coordinates this from top to bottom. And very interesting working with bands, isn't it, Julie? Special. This is one of the pictures from one of our Live After 5s, and boy, like I said, it just got so busy that we're going to have to, some of our venues that were just fine a couple of years ago, we can barely fit the crowd in. So again, a good problem, but we're going to have to look at our application guidelines again this year, because you know what we've done? We've done you must have this amount of square footage. We had a little thing and we measured it. We're going to have to probably bust that out a little bigger. And then security got to be an issue for us. Fortunately, we have Shane on staff, but Shane doesn't work all of those. So we pay for extra duty officers in order to patrol the event. Ooh, I don't know what I did there. Sorry, guys. We do a downtown trick-or-treat, and that is so much fun. It's really not a revenue generator, but I really like this picture. Merchants participate, and all the little kiddies come downtown, all the little daycares all over the area, and all the kids and families, and they go from shop to shop. They start with us, they get a map, and they get their bag, and they get their first little bit of candy, and then they go to all the shops. So that's just a fun event I thought I'd throw in there for you. We do that, and that's coming up. I can't believe that's coming up already. Oops, that shouldn't be in there. Oh, I'm going backwards. This is good. Sorry, guys. There we go. This is our Strawberry Festival, and this is Strawberry Man. Ziggy, he is on staff with us. He's actually a retired county commissioner. He also owns Stella's. Are you familiar with Stella's Restaurant and Bakery in Billings? Oh, it's amazing if you haven't gone. It's part of the Best Western Clock Tower Inn kind of property there. And Ziggy has been Strawberry Man for a long time. Michael, Strawberry Festival just hit its year. 19th year. And Ziggy is pretty amazing. He's also been our Santa. He's been a hospitality ambassador. He does a pedicab out of Stella's and the Best Western Clock Tower Inn, and he'll spin you around town if you want to go. He's hilarious. And Strawberry Festival is probably our signature event, our biggest event as far as attendance. Probably about 10,000 people come out. And we close 7 blocks down, and it generates a nice revenue. We'd like to see it generate a little more, but Michael's been doing a great job with coordinating that, and it is such a great event. And one of the signature things that we do there is a 60-foot strawberry shortcake. And the Chefs and Cooks Association pre-bakes all these sheet cakes, and Cisco donates this, that, and the other, and they have buckets and buckets of strawberries, and we tear down the pancake breakfast and we go straight into strawberry shortcake, and they assemble it, and the crowd just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We sold 2,000 pieces last year, and people are fighting over that last piece. I have done it for 7 years and never tasted it, except on my face, on my shirt, in my hair. I'm like eating, that is really good. But I can't even save myself a piece. We are destroyed after the 60-foot strawberry shortcake. Again, another partnership with our Chefs and Cooks Association. They love coming out. What we do is we share the proceeds on this little subset of an event inside a big event, and they use it for their scholarship money towards students coming in to wanting to be chefs or cooks. So the Chefs Association gets a cut off that. They are also going to be doing our Harvest Fest this year, and they're going to be carving pumpkins, dueling knives, and seeing who does the best pumpkin. Then we're going to auction them off, I believe. I think that's the direction we're going, Michael. And the proceeds, they again get some proceeds for their scholarship money, and then we keep some of the proceeds. Our kids area, Harvest Fest is like an Oktoberfest, Strawberry Fest kind of feel, but in the fall. And we're probably only in our 6th year, Michael. Oh, sorry, 8th year. And it's a great event. We closed down about 5 blocks for that. Our kids area serves thousands of kids. We order little pumpkins and we run out. And they get to decorate them and have fun in the kids area, which is full of hay bales, and it has a tent, and just lots and lots of fun. In the Strawberry Festival as well, we have a dedicated kids area run by MSUB Outreach. So they man that whole station. And it is a blessing because we are so stretched between running around and a woman's going in labor, got to get her out of the middle of the footprint, and you're like, oh, do you have to have that baby now? Can you wait? But anyway, you never know what's going to happen. So MSUB and Valley Bank are our sponsors on that. Couldn't do without them. There are 40 volunteers that make the kids area happen. So that's Harvest Fest coming up October 9th this year, and we do have a Oktoberfest kind of feel beer garden, if you will. It's our Harvest Fest beer garden, and we're really excited. We just ordered a 30 by 60 foot tent that we're going to keep in-house now. So we're kind of lucky in downtown Billings that we have our own kit of parts. So we have all our awnings, we have all our barricades, we close all our streets down ourselves. Once we get approval through City Council, we have a huge workshop that Joe is masterful at, and so we have all the electrical. We run all the electrical cords down the street for all the 100 vendors who need it, so it's kind of fun. Oh, there I go again. This is a new event. It's a pachacha. I don't know if you've heard of it, but this was the evening of the pachacha, and people were starting to gather. A pachacha, it was our first time putting that on with some partners in the community. A pachacha was created in Tokyo, or the event was created in Tokyo, and what it is it's a juried kind of thing where artists and design folks are selected to show 20 slides in 20 seconds per slide. So I don't know how many minutes that adds up to be, but 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes, and it is the coolest thing. And we had our first ever pachacha with 9 presenters during Art Walk. We have Art Walk in downtown Billings, and that's a kind of a quarterly event when all the galleries are open and the shops are open late. And at the end of Art Walk at 9 o'clock, everyone convened into the Empire parking lot behind the securities building, and a huge canvas. We built a frame, and it was hung over the northern garage parking wall, and the pachacha started. There was music and a bar outside, and people got to see whether the art was, whether you were an architect and you were showing your medium in 20 slides in 20 seconds, or whether you were a cake decorator, a graffiti artist, a tattoo artist, it doesn't matter, but it is juried, and it's an art kind of attracting the creative class, and boy, were we surprised. It was really cool. We're doing it again under our wine tent during the Christmas stroll. That's another event that we do downtown. So that should be kind of fun. Really, that event was brought to us by Collaborative Design and the Art Walk. We all kind of worked on it together. And oh, what fun was that? My idea is to do, I want to do cartoons, and Saturday morning everyone wear their jammies. Watch cartoons. I was going to talk about a branding a little bit more too. Another thing that we've done is, when you have your brand and you're going forward, you start imprinting everything with your new messaging. So our all-around Billings directory looks like this now. It's purple. It's got our messaging. Our folders, if you are interested in membership with the DBA, you get a folder and a packet that you should have seen what we were doing before. It was just a hodgepodge. And so, you know, you want to thread that through, and I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but we were just a little behind in Billings. But some other things that you can do, this is a cinch pack with our logo on it. I love seeing people walk downtown with their cinch packs on. For our wine tent, when you enter the wine tent, it's $5, and you get a little teeny wine glass that has what? Downtown Billings starts here on it. So cute. I love these. You know, when you go to places and you get a glass, I'll probably never use it. This you'll use. I use it in my office on certain nights when I work late. But the other thing you're going to probably want to do is like when you do a brand change is your window clings that people put in the window to show that they're a member of the downtown Missoula or Billings Association or Uptown Butte, is that you get that to be symbiotic as well. We had window clings that were from 20 years ago. People are still using the old ones, you know, so it's that attention to detail and making everyone look like they're part of the same program is pretty amazing. Now, in the downturn of the economy, and we're membership-based, so that revenue is really important to us on the DBA side of things, and we represent 96% local businesses in downtown Billings. Do you know who didn't re-up their membership in this economy in the last 2 years? Banks. Corporate, huge houses. People, it was the smaller ones that were banding together, were saying, we can fight this, but we want to belong. We want to belong to the larger group that we know is working for us. And so that and this they have embraced. Now, BFD might catch you off guard, but this is our subset, if you will, within a brand. You can have subsets, but you have to make sure that there's integrity and they are carrying the integrity of the brand. And this is BFD, Best Friend of Downtown Billings. It's it can mean whatever you're thinking over there, Julie. But it really has been cute. So when we went to charge people $1 for the wristband, which was scandalous, that they would have to pay $1, they got a bumper sticker that said, "You're a best friend of Downtown Billings. Thanks for supporting Downtown Billings programming." And it's been really fun. When she put it on her shirt at Live After 5, that made me really happy because she's a walk-in little billboard for us now. So, so anyway, I've got some of these identity pieces here for you. Oh, Lisa. Sorry, guys. And we printed up shirts, BFD. All our volunteers were in BFD shirts or event staff shirts. Downtown Billings starts here. And it rained that night. Can you tell right here on the little, yeah, and that's my son, slave labor. You know, I work my children if I have to, if I can catch them. So that's been really fun. And then we did this definition of what a best friend is to a downtown area. And at the end, the last line, I think it says, "My village, I love my village," or something like that. It's really cute. I don't have a prototype here for you. And this is who makes it happen. That crazy staff that they printed that picture in the Billings Gazette when Shane won Officer of the Year. And fortunately, they cut me out. And Sue Ping was hanging around there too, but you were holding the baby. You were holding your baby, and I think I was making a face like, what have I gotten myself into? But Shane won Officer of the Year. We were so proud, and that's pretty much the nature every day in our office. We're all ADD, but it works. These are some of the things that we do downtown for our members. Parking token program. We facilitate all of these parking programs for the city of Billings. Again, great collaborations, making parking kind, because most people come to downtowns and go, I hate parking downtown. And so we do a parking validation program. Sue Ping manages that. She manages our 10-hour parking permit program as well as our token program. She manages the green meter program as far as the monies and the gift card program. Michael does everything else there. So, and social media has been huge. We probably have about 22, last time I checked, 2,200 Facebook fans or something like that, and boy, has that been phenomenal. And the Twitter and all that. Other things that we do are seminars, so we're teaching our members how to be social media savvy, so we offer that for our members as well. And we have other events that we do. We have the holiday parade, we have the Christmas stroll, and we do a downtown living loft crawl. We're getting ready to do that on October 1st, and people who are interested in living downtown, we put certain projects and developments on display one night. They have a map, they come in, there's beer and wine at each of the little loft and condo places and their real estate people, and then we have an after party afterward. Last year, our first time, we thought, we'll probably get like 75 people. Nobody's going to come. We had 425 people come out to tour downtown living. It blew us away. And so we're doing it again, and we're really excited. Michael, if there's any event that I've missed, I know that I probably have, but I know we're short on time. We want to take questions. So thank you for listening. Thank you.
Anyone have questions?
I'd like to go back to the National Folk Festival. George, when the National Folk Festival first comes to an environment and says we want you to take on for the first 3 years, do they at that time help you with this sustainability plan right off the bat, or are you is the cord cut and are you left on your own?
No, that's the whole approach to the organization that owns the National Council for the Traditional Arts. They're actually in as much a community development organization as they are a performing arts supporter of traditional arts. They look at, we were competing with close to 25 communities around the country. They look at many factors about the match for what the traditional music represents, the ethnic heritage, the location, the geography. This was a big leap for them because it was the first time they've been west of the Mississippi since 1962. They were in Denver for a year. And it's mostly been back east, and it's going back to Nashville. So this was the last chance for the West. But no, they for 3 years, it's kind of like we've been in college. And they will still be involved in the regional festival. For example, in Bangor, Maine, which is in its, I think it's the 8th year of going forward. It's now the American Folk Festival. They're still involved in helping to book bands and helping with the venue setup. They have technicians, and we've become part of that community. We know some of these same people who we will invite to Montana, if they're not busy, to come and help with sound and stage setup and things like that. They do. It's some of them work for things like an EPA person is one of their main venue designers. He's a full-time employee of EPA, and this is his love. And so he goes to Richmond, Virginia, Bangor, Maine, Butte, Montana now. In fact, he was one of the strongest proponents for Butte because he'd been involved in radon studies for the EPA, so he knew about Butte, and he'd been here in the 1970s. So, but he came to love it. In fact, he was the one in the group that toured the various venues and stood on the original ground when it was just flat bunch grass and just almost abandoned, and said, "This is your main venue." And local people said, "By God, he's right," and took it from there, moved through volunteer efforts from Jordan Contracting, Pioneer Technical Services, engineering companies, turned it into that amphitheater with the sod and the grade and all the improvements that were made there. But yeah, they conscious from day one that they would be handing it off to become something that they hoped would be sustainable into the future. And we just thought it would be a shame if we didn't live up to that. And we're trying our best to pursue, remain faithful to the program, to the quality of the music, and to go forward to make it last as long as perhaps the one in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is in its 22nd year of going forward after 3 years as the National Folk Festival.
George, I think if you ever get rid of the folk festival, you're going to have to leave town.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I might have to do that before. Yeah.
How many years in advance do they announce where it's going to go? I mean, did you have like 2 years of planning with them before you started, 3 years of planning?
No, it was about a year-long process where we were in, I think, neck and neck with Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then they just decided that they had like 200 events in Milwaukee on the weekend. They'd try somewhere else, but Milwaukee, there was California, Oregon, New Jersey, several, and they came to do site visits. They evaluate a community. Nashville, they were hesitant. I know a little bit about the internal process. They looked at Nashville and they said, well, Nashville doesn't need this. They have so many events going on already. But Nashville has a desire to revitalize its downtown, to bring people downtown, not on the edges to the Grand Ole Opry or to go to some country concert. They want people to start enjoying the downtown. In Richmond, Virginia, the goal was racial integration because blacks had their events, whites had their events. The National Folk Festival actually brought people together with common interest, and I was there for the 3rd year of that, and it was amazing, you know.
So you were selected 2 years before you actually had?
1 year.
1 year. So you did all that work in 1 year?
Right, and it takes about a year to put that
I
together.
would imagine, yeah,
I
especially.
would have thought you had longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of music is your roots festival?
It is Americana. So it can be anything from, how would I describe Americana music? It can be blues, it can be bluegrass, it can be some rock mixed in there. Americana music is kind of its own brand of music, but this year's headliner was Robert Earl Keen from Austin, Texas. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not. He's fantastic. So for that one, anything we do in Karis Park, we own our own stage, and so we have a staff that sets that up. We're actually in the middle of a capital campaign to build a permanent stage down there in Covering, because currently the system is we have to, in the summer, I mean, it's probably 5 days a week, our staff has to haul it out of storage, set it up, they set up a band shell that's truthfully on its last legs. It actually fell on one of the bands once this summer. I was mortified. And we are in the middle of a capital campaign, which we're hoping to have enough to actually do the stage this fall so that it's ready, or early next spring, so it's ready for the 2011 event season. For the Roots Fest, we actually rent a stage from a local company and have it set up there in the middle of Main Street. So since that one's only once a year, we just rent that year to year.
Does it have a cover?
It does have a cover, yep.
Was your mobile updating in regard to the Roots Festival?
Yes, it was.
Did you count, did you get a count of how many exchanges?
They are actually, that was 2 weeks ago, so I will get a count. I don't have it yet. The company that we worked with on that was a company called Open Link Mobile here in Missoula, and they're still putting together the numbers for us on that. The other nice thing about it too is from an economic impact perspective, he can do a count on what area code the text came from. He can't give me the specific numbers, so I can't go back and text spam them all next year. But he can tell me what area codes they called from, so we can get an idea who's calling from where. To an extent, it might be a little skewed, we recognize, because we have a lot of university students here that don't give up their numbers. 2 of our staff members still have out-of-state phone numbers on their cell phones because you can just take it with you now. So it might be skewed a little bit, but it's at least a starting point. It's hard to get those numbers when it's a free festival in an unticketed event as to where people are coming from and how far they've traveled. So it's a start.
Is that a logo, would you call it a logo or a slogan, or what's the difference between?
Well, normally you'll do a brand or a logo, and then you'll have a tagline. This is it. We don't have, what we do is every year we'll maybe come out with a tagline. Last year it was something different. So most of our promotions had something different on them. So, this is, I guess I'd have to say this is our logo. This is what we use for our logo. We logo everything in it, if you will. But the design is more, it has swirls in it and a river kind of concept and that type of thing. I guess that would be our brand. So, yeah. That's a dicey issue, branding, logoing, because you roll it out, it's yours. I mean, it's you for a while. It's not a cheap thing to do, first of all. And you hope that your stakeholders are happy with the things that you're doing. Billings has recently gone, the whole of Billings, under a brand initiative, and was it contentious, I think, so very, very
I think it can be hard, too, to come up with that brand and logo via committee, and especially when you're working with a committee of volunteers who change year to year to year, and I finally got to a point myself that during board strategic planning, said, I need some consistency in this marketing committee. Because every year I was getting a new marketing committee, and every year they're coming in and saying, guess what, Julie? I hate the logo. Let's make a new one. And it was, I got to the point where I'm like, we cannot afford this anymore, friends. And we finally got a commitment that at least it's we have it limited to a 6-person committee. And before it was anybody in our membership that wanted to come voice marketing could come to a marketing meeting. And so we'd get 25 people around a table saying, this is what I think we should do to brand downtown Missoula. And it's
tough.
I mean, it's insane.
Really tough.
And so we ended up setting some parameters for that committee, that it can be no larger than 6 people. There's 2 people on that committee from each. We have 3 entities that all help fund our image marketing for downtown. It's the Downtown Association, our bid, and our parking commission actually chips in on that fund as well. So 2 people from each of those organizations get to represent on there, and we try to keep it as consistent year to year as possible, recognizing that we're not going to make any headway on consistency until we start with the committee. You know, we need to get them, they're finally all on the same page, and we're all heading in the same direction, in the same boat, and it's putting some parameters on it has been great. There can be such thing as too big of a committee.
Yeah. But it is nice to freshen up your messaging, and we just were really taking it out as far as we needed to, and introducing energy into it, so.
Is there a budget, like, how could you find a typical budget for an event, say?
Like a profit and loss on an event? I'm sure we all usually
say-
run P&Ls on our event.
All 3 of us could probably provide
Yeah,
you with
we
an
could.
example.
And I think what Julie said was spot on. Events probably go from 1,000 to 20,000 in our,
Yep.
it takes us 21,000 to put on the Alive After 5 concert series. And so, you know, her range I thought was really realistic. So, and then downtown trick-or-treating, you know, we give out candy, you know, it doesn't cost us as much and that type of thing. It depends on the event.
I think it depends on the goal of the event too. Like our Christmas parade, the Parade of Lights. The goal with that event is to break even. We see it as our gift back to the community. We don't see it as a fundraiser for our organization. So our whole goal with that one is whatever we raise, we spend. So if we have a great fundraising year, great, we get to have more carriage rides. You know, maybe Santa gets to stay a couple more days. But, you know, if fundraising doesn't go as well one year, you know, we're able to scale it back to a point or get more free partnerships in there where we can still put on a quality event.
And
So
then you're Santa.
actually, we are blessed that Santa, we've had the same Santa for a number of years, and he's amazing. And I have a cute anecdotal story that Linda's daughter knows no other Santa than our Santa, and she's getting to that age, and she went home last year and she lined out all of her Santa pictures, and Linda says, well, what are you doing? And she says, checking. And sure enough, same Santa in every picture. So I have a feeling there's other kids out there that this is the only Santa they know, and thank God he comes back year after year after year.
That's cute. Well, thanks for attending. It's
Yeah.
been a real pleasure, so.
And I know thanks.